everyone, welcome back to Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Today's video is a not so festive book review of a festive book, The Santa Klaus Murder. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. And my name's Alice and I have way too many books. And today I'm bringing you my first ever book review, and it's also part of my Christmas series I've been doing with Julie over at the Hungry Bookworm. But this week is different to the series we've been putting out so far. We also agreed to do a Christmas buddy read, and we both agreed to get it on Audible and listen to it over the next few days, which we did. Let me tell you a little bit about it first. So The Santa Klaus Murder is by the author Mavis Doriel Hay, and it's part of the British Library Crime Classic series. It has a lovely cover, which hopefully I'll be showing you a picture of over here because I listened to it on audiobook. And this is a Christmas murder mystery, basically. It was narrated by Gordon Griffin and Anne Dover, and it was 8 hours and 21 minutes long. And as an audiobook, it was narrated pretty well. Both Gordon Griffin and Anne Dover did a series of interesting voices. My main problem was that the narrator for most of the chapters was a character called Colonel Holstock, who was investigating the mystery. And I did find him a little bit dull. I don't think it was quite the narrator's fault, but the narrator didn't really do anything to help the dullness either. So let me tell you a bit about the story before we get into anything more ranty or more about my opinion of the book. So this is basically a book about Sir Osmond Melbury, who's the head of a family, and he gathers his family together and a couple of outsiders who are also his guests to his country house for Christmas. And I think the country house itself, or maybe the area they're in, is called Flaxmere. And the first few chapters are all told from different people's perspectives. First we get the perspective of, I think his name's Philip, and he hopes to marry Sir Osmond Melbury's fourth daughter. So he's at Flaxmere with her. In that chapter, he gives us the background of the family, and we find out that Sir Osmond Melbury has 4 daughters and a son, and it basically goes through the cast of characters pretty much. It was difficult on audio after this point to remember exactly which sister was which and who which sister was married to, but I think maybe that's a problem with it being an audiobook and not a physical book. We then get a chapter from the point of view of Sir Osmond's eldest daughter, and she tells us about one of the days in the run-up to Christmas. Then we get the point of view of Jennifer Melbury, who is Sir Osmond's 4th daughter, and Christmas Eve is told from the point of view of Mildred Melbury, who is actually Sir Osmond's sister, and she disagrees fundamentally with the idea of gathering everyone together at Christmas. She says it's sure to lead to disaster, which sure enough it does. The final chapter that's told by somebody else for a very long time is told by Sir Osmond's secretary, I believe she is, and housekeeper, Grace Portisham, and she's a character who the others are worried will be given more in Sir Osmond's will. So that sets the scene, and Grace Portisham actually tells us the story of Christmas Day. And on Christmas Day, this isn't a spoiler because it tells you this in the blurb, but on Christmas Day, Sir Osmond Melbury is found murdered. What a surprise. And the rest of the story deals with Colonel Holstock investigating where everybody was and who did it. Basically, they spend quite a lot of time getting people to tell them what happened, and then having to go back to the people to ask them what happened again because they've all lied to them. Anyway, I can't tell you anything else, otherwise it might spoil it. But the key point, the reason why it's called the Santa Klaus Murder, is because the murdered man is found dead by a guy in a Santa Claus costume, which was Sir Osmond Melbury's idea for the children. So it's a friend of theirs dressed up as Santa Claus. So that's the setup of this mystery. It sounds like something that I should love. Did I love it? No. Let me tell you the positives first. I loved the setting. The setting was great. I loved the fact that different characters were given different voices and they had had a chance to each narrate chapters. But as soon as it came to the point where Colonel Halstock was narrating all the chapters, it became immediately very boring to me. I really like Golden Age mysteries, as you know. I love Agatha Christie, and I've also enjoyed books by Marjorie Allingham and Dorothy L. Sayers, possibly others. But I did not love this book. I did not love it at all. Within a few chapters, Julie and I were actually unsure whether to continue the buddy read, and you know by now that I do not like to DNF things, and I was actually sorely tempted to abandon this audiobook because it just didn't really do anything for me. Loved the setting, mildly enjoyed the setup, but it just didn't pull it off. It was, for me, what let it down was characters. So the author's given us a great setting, and I love the idea of the murderer being someone in the house, in the family. Always good. But I did not love the family. Like, they didn't give me anybody to care about. So Sir Osmond Melbury, the murder victim, honestly, they've told you so little about him by the time he's murdered that there's really nothing to care about. And when he got bumped off, we weren't sad about it, but also nobody in the book seemed sad about it either. And we just weren't given a character to latch onto. The character I probably liked best was Jennifer, the fourth daughter, who has been living at home still with Sir Osmond Melbury. Jennifer was an okay character, and she does get another chapter to narrate later on in the book, which was a welcome relief from the monotony of the Colonel Halstock chapters. But for me, the big character failure in this was the failure to have a really likeable and good detective. What I love about Agatha Christie, as you know, is Hercule Poirot. I also love her character Miss Marple, although not as much as Poirot, obviously. In the Dorothy L. Sayers books, we have Lord Peter Wimsey, who, although he can be annoying, I do enjoy as a character. But there was no character to love here, not in the family and not the investigator. The investigator was boring to me. Other people may love this book, but I was bored. And I don't know if that was because it was being read to me on an audiobook or if it was the book itself. I'm inclined to think it was the book itself. I persuaded Julie to give it a chance for a few more chapters, and we both decided to just try and get to the end and write it out and see what the solution was to the mystery. For me, the solution to the mystery was okay. I was relieved the book was finished more than anything, but yeah, there was just nothing particularly exciting about the book, unfortunately. And both Julie and I were disappointed that it's also not very Christmassy. Like, the only thing Christmassy about it is that it's set on Christmas Day and Santa Claus, someone in a Santa Claus suit, is there. It just wasn't Christmassy at all. Would I read Mavis Doriel Hay again? I'm not sure. I need to look into whether any of her books sound like something I might enjoy, and I think if I try one again, I will try reading it as a physical copy. I'm in two minds about whether I would have enjoyed this book more as a physical book, because if it was a physical book, I think it would have been easier to get my mind round who the different characters were and what their relationships were with each other. But I'm really not sure that I would have carried on struggling through to the end if it hadn't been being read to me while I did other things. It was disappointing. It was a disappointing read for me. It was one of 15 books I read in November, and this was my least favourite read of November. There was nothing for me really here to sink my teeth into or to enjoy. If you're a big fan of a murder mystery with a cool detective like Poirot, then I don't really think that this is the book for you. If you're happy with more of a family mystery, but without very good investigators, maybe give this one a try. I was definitely drawn in by the premise, but ultimately The Santa Klaus Murder by Mavis Doriel Hay let me down. I do hope to do another buddy read with Julie, hopefully of something we can enjoy a bit more. I'm glad we both listened to it on audiobook, so we both had exactly the same experience. It was enjoyable to chat to Julie, but had I not been chatting to Julie about it, I think I would have DNF'd this, and it would have been my first DNF of the year. So this has been my first ever book review, and also my only Christmassy book review. I'm not sure whether I'll try more of the British Library crime classics. If you have any recommendations from that series of books that you think I might like, then do let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear your mystery recommendations. That's all for this Christmassy book review. It's getting very close to Christmas now. I hope you have a wonderful festive season, whatever you celebrate. And if you do celebrate Christmas, I hope you have a lovely Christmas this week. And if you have enjoyed this book review, although it's been a bit ranty, please do give it a like. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Please do comment down below. Have you read this book? What did you think? And did you read it as a physical copy or an Audible copy? Thanks for watching today, and I very much hope you will come and join me again soon for another video all about books here on Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Bye for now.